What is up, everybody? It's your boy Phil Shocker, the 966 Jug here with our Week 7 VBL matchup and most likely Team Builder. Team Builder here going against, yes, if you haven't guessed it yet, Zach, aka the Weather Gamer, my Iowa bro, Zach. Zach is actually taking over for a team, which is pretty cool. The team Zach has, I think, still has a chance to make playoffs. I can't be sure, but as of also recording this, I do not know if I will be playing my VBL Week 6 game. I have not heard anything from my opponent yet, so we most likely are 2-4. Like I said, though, we have to go on a win spree in order to clinch a playoff spot. But looking at Zach's team, the free agencies he was able to make, there's probably no way I can win this match. But, never say never. When it comes to Zach and Zero, I think I've only faced them once, but he beat me last time. I would have beaten him if I put weather ball in my big shot, but we're not going to go over that. But overall, this match is not entirely unwinnable. There is a chance to win it. It's just gonna really come down to how I think Zach's gonna prep his team. So, breaking down Zach's team. Also, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the Phil Shocker crew today because you'll be feeling with the king of the krill. And I said krill. Dang it, I did! Ah, I meant to say frill, not krill. Sorry, I'm just really tired for some reason. But, nonetheless, we're going in this matchup, so let's break down Zach's team. His team consists of Zeraora, Skuntank, Blastoise, Rhyperior, Haxorus, Lucario, Rabombi, Rillaboom, Drifblim, and Flareon. And he actually has a pretty impressive squad from some of the free agencies that he was able to get. Looking at his team, he's got basically a pretty good terrain team. Really massive ground weakness, though. He's got like 5 of his 10 mons weak to ground types. Yeah, he's got Rabombi, he's got a Flyer, and he's got Blastoise and all that, but they still don't want to take ground types hits. So, looking at this matchup. Oh, excuse me. This is a very interesting matchup nonetheless. Um, this matchup, like I said, can kind of go either way. Zach's semi-pressured in this matchup to start bringing things that he knows he needs to bring, but aren't gonna be able to be bringing towards me. But let's break down. So I don't think he's bringing Flareon with me having 2 ground types, Water Bubble, Salazzle. Like, I don't really think Flareon's really gonna come unless you really need a Wish user. I don't think Drifblim comes. There's not really much of its usefulness, especially again, but I have 2 ice types. Oh, excuse me. God, I'm sorry, guys. I yawn in these. I always feel like I record and yawn at the same time for almost every single video. I don't know why. Rillaboom is something that can potentially see be brought versus us, but again, I do have 2 ice types. I do have a bug type. I do have a fire type, and I do have a dragon that's actually pretty strong. So it's totally up to him. It could be a toss-up, but I do think there's a few things that are better to bring versus me. That I definitely could see him bring Rabombi versus me. Rabombi is very, very strong versus my team. There's options for setup Rabombi with Psychic, Bug Buzz, Moonblast, Quiver Dance with the Focus Sash. I would not be surprised if he tried doing that towards me because of how I've teased him or everything like that with the whole time we've ever battled and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be totally surprised. But for the main 6, I definitely think Skuntank comes. Skuntank is is relatively good versus us, and I think it's just gonna be the ultimate revenge story of how Skuntank is gonna come back and kick our butts. Really. But I also think Skuntank's really good because it gives him a defogger that he can really use for his team. As you can see, his team really semi doesn't like the webs, but definitely is something that he just can't really want to bring. And also, it's a really good mon to counteract Copperrigus, because if you look at his team, Copperrigus really screams offensive against him. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. I think Blastoise is really good. Blastoise kind of be able to stop a good, decent amount of my team. It could be potentially swapped out potentially, but I definitely think it's still something that's really good because also a Rapid Spin and also an offensive Blastoise set. I definitely think Rhyperior comes. Rhyperior is really freaking bulky and pretty good against my team overall. It's definitely a strong mon to hit against a good amount of my team. Excuse me. I just overall think that's a really good. And plus, he's gonna probably want to bring rocks this matchup, so definitely expect him to bring stealth rocks there. I think he's gonna bring either Bandit Hacktress or Dragon Dance Hacktress or potentially the Swords Dance Scale Shot set. Definitely a very offensive threat versus our team. We do have two ice types, a fairy type, but there's just a couple of things on my team that honestly can't handle it the best, but is something to just kind of keep in mind. And I think Lucario comes. Lucario is pretty good annoyingly. If he gets an agility up and it's like something like special Lucario, or it's like agility nasty plot with either just Dark Pulse and either fighting move or steel move, depending on that, it could be, but I don't really expect it that much. But overall, it could be something we brought. So again, potentially the Rillaboom can come. Potentially the Rabombi could come. So let's go ahead and just break down the team that we have brought this week, and hopefully can try to snag us a win. Up first, we have Shark here, my Garchomp, and Shark's pretty interesting this week. We are running Swords Dance, Earthquake, Fire Fang, and Aqua Tail. 40 HP, max attack, 216 in the speed. With a Swords Dance, they pretty much 1 to 2 hit KO everything on his team, really. So that's really good right there. Earthquake is just general stab. Fire Fang is there for things like Rillaboom, Rabombi, in that type of situation. I do specifically have Aqua Tail for the Rhyperior. I was thinking of running the Scale Shot, maybe running something like Outrage or Dragon Claw. But the more and the more I looked at it, I think the best way to run at this is to excuse me, is to more so want to weaken down his team and beat down his team instead of trying to set up mostly against him. Because as the man who brings meme setup, it's most likely I want to bring an actual setup that can break his team rather than just set up and win. But the Garchomp could set up and win essentially again if things like Zero Aura are gone and anything like that. I am rocking the Roselia Berry for two reasons. One is for that Rabombi if it tries to set up on me, if it's Focus Sash or anything like that. And two, it's there to also be able to take the player up from the Zero Aura and revenge it guaranteed easily. So there is something to keep in mind there. Up next for Brain, I'm pretty chill. My Rotom Frost this week. Rotom's really good this matchup. Rotom can kind of actually do a lot for me in this game. It's going to be my physically defensive Mon this week, going with Max, and 4 in there. Bold Nature with Blizzard, Hex, and Volt Switch. Volt Switch is mostly there for pivoting. I do also need a move that can still hit Blastoise and don't want to guarantee be locked into Blizzard. It's also a nice way to kind of just have something to support and for pivoting. Hex plus Will-O-Wisp is really, really strong versus the majority of Zach's team, which is really, really good. And then Blizzard is just generally great stab to have against a good majority of his entirety of his team as well. So I do expect Rotom to do a really good amount of work for us in this game. Up next, we have Jirachi here, Choice Scarf, Make a Wish here, with Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, Trick, and U-Turn. Now, the reason why I have Trick on here is I want to cripple something on his team, but more so or not, this is just too annoying Zach. He got annoyed when I destroyed him with Togekiss, and now he's about to get annoyed when he gets destroyed by Jirachi. Now, I do have to be careful what I lock into, because yes, even though I do have Iron Head and I do have Zen Headbutt, I can't freely lock into one or the other just willy-nilly. I have to be able to kind of just pick whatever I think can work for us in this matchup. And I definitely think Jirachi has that kind of advantage going to this matchup where it will outspeed, excuse me, everything in his team that is not Choice Scarf. The only thing that in his team that can be faster than me with the Choice Scarf is Rabombi, but I don't think it's going to be, or if it's Zero Aura, which I may think he might want to bring that. But other than that, there's nothing else that really outspeeds his team. I mean, we're faster in +1 Haxorus, which is also really good. That's also a reason why I also have the speed on Garchomp, so we're faster than Haxorus. So just generally, just a lot of good things on my team that can kind of just counteract everything on his team. Up next, we have bringing his debut. It's Jerry. For guys who don't know, I was doing an Insurgents playthrough, and I had a Sandshrew that evolved into Sandslash, and his name was Jerry, and he was tanking hits for days, and he was doing some decent damage. So I went and got him, and Jerry, sadly, he passed away in that playthrough. But nonetheless, we have Jerry here, our Sandslash here, making his debut with Swords Dance Knockoff, Earthquake, and Super Fang. Now, I wanted to put Poison Jab on this set. I might switch it for Poison Jab just in case if the Rabombi comes, just in case if Rillaboom does come. But overall, Jerry hits really, really hard. If you look at Zach's team, he really has bad time against ground types. Now, again, he can bring Rillaboom versus me. Rillaboom is really a toss up, though, because there's a lot of my team that he needs to really check with Rillaboom. But if you also look at his team, Zach's fire type's a Flareon, and his Flareon's not really that strong against a good majority of my team. So that's what's leading me a little bit away from him wanting to bring Rillaboom. But again, Super Fang is really good because it gets 50% on every single thing on his team, which is really, really good. Knockoff's really good to just remove items. And then Swords Dance, if I can try to set it up, does a lot of work. We are faster than some of his non-defensive bulk, except for the Skunk Tank. But other than that, Jerry can put in a lot of work. We're running max HP, 148 in attack, adamant nature, 76 in defense, 32 in the Spadef. So Jerry is very kind of a little bit of a mixed defensive tank. It's going to be more primarily physically defensive, as Zach's team is going to be most likely physical instead of special against me. But ultimately, Jerry's here just to help kind of support the team and just kind of whittle things down. Also coming in with another berry is Hunter with the Wakam berry running physically defensive Arachnoid with Liquidation, Leech Life, Toxic, Sticky Webs, 212 in the HP, 48 attack, and the 248 in the speed in defense. Now, again, he could run some heavy duty boots users like Zero Aura potentially and stuff like that. But overall, I think there's just going to be a preference and a focus on him to really want to remove the hazard still instead of anything. But again, that's why we're seeing potentially Blastoise being maybe like Rabbit's Toxic, Skull, Dark Pulse, or maybe seeing Skunk Tank with Defog and Sucker Punch and stuff like that. But overall, I think Arachnoid can actually put in a lot of good work. We are running the Wakam Berry because it's basically to want to bait in that Zero Aura. If I can Toxic Zero Aura or I can weaken Zero down with a hit and then be able to go for a liquidation on the next turn, then that's really going to be good for us, especially if we get Zero or weaken to the point where Water Bubble Liquidation knocks it out. That's going to throw Zach off for a big loop. And if we get rid of his Zero Aura, he literally loses his fastest thing on his team. And then things like Garchomp can come in and just kind of click buttons. And last but not least, we're bringing Pharaoh here. Physically defensive, max HP, 152 in defense, 96 special defense, and 8 in special attack. Physically defensive, of course, like I have said, but we're running a very defensive set with Iron Defense, Body Press, Will-O-Wisp, and Shadow Ball. I am running Shadow Ball just because I want to be able to have a move that can still hit things. We are primarily running physically defensive with Body Press because that's really good to hit against the majority of his team. And Will-O-Wisp is really there to annoy his team. Iron Defense is really good to annoy him. Body Press pretty much hits every single thing except for the Drift Bloom and pretty much the Rabombi because it's massively reduced because it's Bug Fairy. But other than that, there's nothing on his team that really care about getting Body Pressed and burned. Again, there's potential chances of Will-O-Wisp Hacksters, but that's why I also have Lumberry Hacksters, my bad. That's why I also have the Iron Defense there, because in case he tries to set up, I get rid of his Willow and he tries to do it again, I get to Willow again for free, essentially, and then just cripple Hacksters. And then either force him to just start setting up more to where I can chip him down more, or to have him basically just do nothing. But that's going to be the team, guys. I don't know if we can really beat Zach's team. It looks like he might go 7-4 against us. But if we can win this game, we can go 5-6 against him and get back on that leaderboard. But until next time, guys, I'm Phil Shocker, the United States Hedgehog. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace.